It's the Jim and Terry Show, coming to you from the Hobbit Hole studio in bright, sunny, and chilly Bobcaygeon.
This is where we are in Bobcaygeon. You had me worried there for a minute. It looked like you were trying to think, where am I right now? You hadn't had a party last night or something.
Maybe I wish. Well, I am maybe looking forward to the fall because September is a good month for me. It's the purple aster month. The wildflowers in the backyard are my flower for my birth month. This is it. Not turning with a 0 yet. 1 to go, but I will be in my 0 year. Because when you turn your birthday, 1 marks the end of 0 to 1, and you're into your 2nd year of living. So if you celebrate a birthday, you are into your next year of living.
Okay, for God's sakes, it's your birthday this month.
But it's not the big O. The big O. I don't have a 0 on the end of it. That's coming. I'm saying I'm really not that old.
It got very complicated there for a minute, and I'm wondering, okay, how old,
I'm trying to say I'm younger than I look.
Okay, good. Yes. You
Older
don't look like you.
Older than I feel.
You don't look like the big 0.
Oh, my shoulder's sagging.
You don't look anywhere near 80.
Little tottery. There you go. It's that 0. Wow.
He's not
throw
going there.
Me under the bus.
He's not going there.
There I am crawling on the floor of the Hobbit Hole studio.
He's not going there.
Thrown over. Okay, what are we talking about this morning? We're going to get off on.
Well, I heard a lot of stuff today.
Well, that's the title of our show. Have you heard?
You and me had an argument until you.
Oh, I was going to slap you upside the head.
Well, until you pulled out the big card.
The big card.
I taught this stuff. I know it to be true. And I went, well, look it up. And we did. And I'm not totally satisfied, but I'm more satisfied that Terry's right. But not totally satisfied.
I'm
left. And so, we started.
What was the question?
Well, that question was, I was listening to a show on the radio today
that you usually listen to
on my way
right.
to Bobcaygeon, and the host is very liberal.
Mm-hmm.
That's who he is, and he had a round table, and one
of
guy
mixed views.
Yes, they'd ask questions and stuff, and what do you think of this? And this one guy yelled from the back. He goes, well, they have impeachment in England. They have it here. They have it there. And Trudeau ended it in Canada. And I went, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that Trudeau ended the impeachment if we've always had the impeachment. And of course, my mind immediately goes to, why would he do that? He knows he's up to no good and he doesn't want to be impeached. So I brought it up to Terry, and Terry said, I don't think we even have impeachment in Canada. Closest thing we got to it is a no confident vote, and that makes sense to me. I remember no confident votes. Used to be always the talk when I worked, when budget time came up, always, will it pass the no confidence vote? So we searched it, and the lesson learned is, for me to now go out and duplicate that, knowing now that I don't have really all the facts to it, I don't think I'm right, but being just, you might be right, isn't right to spread that. So I haven't had an opportunity to say that to anybody else. So we got to watch what we're listening to and kind of fact check it. I think that's the moral of this show.
Speaking of fact checking, I noticed this is the fellow who rose to fame on CNN fact checking Trump's lies, Daniel Dale. Well, he's back on CNN fact checking the allegations, the grounds for this newly announced inquiry about Biden. So that's the first step towards impeachment, which is why I guess this was on radio today and why you heard talk of, well, we don't have it in Canada anymore.
Because of Trudeau.
Right.
But,
so F Trudeau.
But listeners, that's not necessarily true.
Yeah, it just begs.
And it was modified 1975. That might have been Father Trudeau.
We don't even know what that modification was. So offhand, we don't know. But the vote of non-confidence, I think, is especially a special irritant, not an irritant, an opportunity, maybe is a better way to say it, for naysayers to swap a government out. If you vote down an economic bill, the budget, and you say no, you have no confidence in that budget, then that triggers, and I believe it triggers an election response or an opportunity to revise the budget and take the criticisms and change what you're going to do. But either way, we have a process and I've never read anything about the word impeachment in any of my. It doesn't mean it. Here's the other thing about this. It doesn't mean that it might not be so.
It's just buried 200 years ago.
Right. I haven't heard of it. And I mean, what am I supposed to know? It wasn't civics was not my specialty. Canadian politics was not my specialty. But I am an avid reader of both history and politics, Canadian, American, and international. So not in my understanding.
Well, maybe you can answer this question for me then.
Sure, put me on the spot without my fact checker, Daniel Dale.
Let's say I'm a liberal.
Okay, that's a hard thing for me to imagine.
Let's say I'm and the Liberal Party I bring forth the budget. My
Right.
finance minister brings it forth.
Right.
In all the pomp and pageantry, they do new shoes or something. They're still doing that.
Yes, they still do that.
Yeah. So and I got my new shoes on and I bring through the budget and it's a no confidence. Bang, we go to an election. Do I bring back the same budget again after I've been reelected? Can they?
Well, yes, you could if you have confidence, which means you either did a deal.
But can they de-confidence you again when the public has said, we don't care, we're just voting them back in, so we want that budget?
That would be very strange. I've never heard of that happening. But in theory, I suppose it's always possible. But I'm not an expert, so yeah, if you're not happy with stuff, there is a process, and it isn't to drive trucks down to Ottawa and occupy.
Stop it!
Okay, I'm just saying. In Canada, we are a nation of law and order, and
let's stay that way.
You go back to Jean Chrétien. Talking about he gave a speech. Yeah, I know.
A proof is a proof is a proof is a proof.
Well, he gave a great speech at the Liberal Party convention, which was only maybe a month before the recent Conservative convention, and I listened to his speech again, and it is one of the most assuring. I would believe with credibility Jean Chrétien, even though he's 80-something at this page, I think he's still got some wisdom to offer, which is another lesson to don't throw out the old people. There is wisdom.
Speaking of old people going, Romney's going.
Mitt Romney, should we cover that or do we want to get back to it?
Whatever.
Okay.
It's a rabbit hole.
It is it's not really a rabbit hole. It's all
same subject.
Yeah, well, the rabbit hole is not the subject. The subject is politics and not being sure. And I guess generally speaking, if we're not sure, we should not spread it without the caveat, I've heard, but I'm not sure. Yeah. I have not verified, I've heard.
Well, the other reason we brought this up is because I said to you, I heard. You know, I read something flashed across my phone, and I didn't have time to read it, but it said, finally, the FAA. And, of course, that's misleading because I said to Terry, no, I'm sorry, Terry. I think they've been approved to fly. We're talking SpaceX here in the super rocket. Terry goes, I thought I just read it wasn't approved. So we went online, and, of course, Terry, again, always has to be right, found that, no, the headline was misleading.
Yes, the headline, which is clickbait stuff.
Yeah, it was misleading, so...
Well, that gets us, too, because when you're surfing social media for your news, it's the heading that gets you. How many YouTube videos have you clicked on because of the title?
Oh, more than I can. Even this one, I would have clicked on it with great joy, but then I would have reported to you, no, it looks like it's going to be next month, not
we
this
consider
month.
The source. Yeah. That's one of our logical approaches to doing research. Consider the source. If the source has been unreliable and using clickbait titles in the past, and you've always been disappointed because it's misleading, don't do it again. Don't keep going to the same well if you're going to get the same bucket of misinformation.
You still get the information just sort of through the back channels.
Well, through the back channels.
I mean, they said it's, they fessed up, but they did get me with the headline. And I would have read it, and I would have been instantaneously disappointed or listened to it, quite frankly, because it's a video and they talk. But it's just that bait, and you're right, I don't like it. I wish things could be a little bit more truthful and upfront.
Yeah, but they're not because they don't want to be. I mean, what's the boring title going to get you to click on?
Well, looks like October.
Well, are our titles? Do we need more clickbaity titles?
Are we going to start lying too?
Isn't that the choice?
I guess.
Yeah, we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. Call it smorgasbord or call it a potpourri.
Yeah, either one. You say smorgasbord, I say potpourri. You say smorgasbord, I say potpourri.
Oh,
onion,
What key is that?
Okay, onion. I guess we. Just
I'm not
need-
even sure what the tempo is, and I don't care.
know. But apparently the Earth vibrates at F sharp.
Really, at F sharp?
Where are we going with this?
I have no idea, but I'm going to bring it all back to Mitt Romney and talk about the things that I wish I had heard along the way, because we did talk about that at our morning coffee.
Yeah.
That I used to think, he was an upstanding presidential candidate on the platform with the ne'er-do-well, most corrupt president ever elected by the American people, if that's how he got elected in 2016. Mitt Romney was on the same platform with Trump. What he had to say, and I wish he had said that all the way through with as much strength and vigor as he's talking about now, in a book that's soon to be published, in an article that's now on Atlantic.com, Mitt Romney tells it like it is. And it's not a pretty picture of the GOP, Mitch McConnell, the head of the Republicans in the Senate, or the MAGA group of renegade congressmen and people like Lauren Boebert, who got tossed from a live theater production for vaping.
Oh.
You never followed that?
No.
I like to see how people who are elected represent their constituents. The good, the bad.
What
and
was
the
he vaping?
plain.
Was
she,
it loaded?
Lauren Boebert.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was
is
she
that-
vaping?
Was
Was
I
it
don't know.
loaded? Was it just calming, a scent of olives or something? I don't know.
I don't know.
Because
I
there's many
haven't-
ways of vaping.
There are. Let's just say that no vaping was allowed. It's like no smoking is allowed. So when you walk in and you light up, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So what in the realm of what were you thinking? How people represent us. We elected them. I didn't elect her. I wouldn't have elected Marjorie Taylor Greene or Matt Gaetz or any one of the other ne'er-do-wells. I would have voted for Romney.
Yeah, Romney's a good guy. And we maybe on another show can talk about why he had to wait till now.
Yeah, let's do that one.
Was that a catch? Romney waits. No, I don't know. What would the headline be?
We'll open with it, though. You got 30 seconds.
Okay,
Bye-bye
good.
for now.